Good morning. Today is Friday, May 17th, Erev Shabbat, Parshat Emor. The second half of Parshat Emor deals with the Moadei Hashem, the festival meeting times of for service of Hashem, focusing more on the agricultural components of each of these festivals. And amongst them is this period of time from Pesach to Shavuot, actually from the bringing of the barley offering, the Omer, until you bring the She'alechem, the wheat bread offering at Shavuot's time. That's this block of time. And that's where we discuss it. And the Ramban, Nachmanides, which I learned with a group of my rabbinic colleagues this week, decides to discuss it as a second time as he's discussing the period, actually on Shmini Atzeret, the term Atzeret, and the end point and the like. But I'm just interested in what he says here, the following. Vayamim hasfarim sorry. B'tziva b'chag hamatzot shiv'a yamim b'kedusha lifneihem ul'acharayim. Regarding Pesach, Chag HaMatzot, he calls it, right? God commanded 7 days with Kedusha at the beginning and end, meaning, right, so you have the Yont at the beginning and end. Kikulam Kedoshim V'tocham Hashem, nice little reference. Umana mimenu tisha v'arba'im yom, shiva shavuot k'mei olam. You count 49 days, but it's really 7 cycles of 7. The Ramban here is talking about Atzeret because he wants to suggest that Sukkot lasts for 7 days, and then Shmini is the additional day on top of that, and that represents us, who are married to the Sabbath, to the seventh. That's his presentation as he gives it to us. And it was supposed to be thinking then in the context of the Shavuot as sort of reminding us of the creation time. And so he says that's what happens even now. We don't count 49 days only, we count 7 weeks, 7 cycles of the 7 of the creation. And then God sanctified the eighth day, which would be Shavuos in this model. 7 cycles of 7, and then the 50th day is the 8th day in the model. I hope you're getting me right. He sanctified that day. Vayamim hasvarim benatayim, and the days which are counted in between. Kecholo shel moed bein harishon v'hashmini b'chag. You should understand that they're basically like the chol moed between the first and the 8th day of Sukkot. All right, too many layers here, but the takeaway is, and Yom Matan Torah is the 8th day in this. But the takeaway is, amongst all of this, is we look at the Omer period with generally as we practice it as a time of worry, of trepidation, of mourning, for all the reasons that we're not discussing now. The mourning of the students of Rabbi Akiva on the one hand, or later in Europe, the mourning of the victims of the Crusades, that all overlaid onto the Omer and made it a pretty dour and sad time. We don't celebrate, we don't take haircuts. Yeah, that's what it is. And here the Ramban says to us, you should know that these days are kecholo shel moed. That's what you should understand. You should see them as somehow especially sanctified time. And okay, I'm not suggesting here that we're throwing away. We're not going to throw away or ignore the serious events that are either described in the Talmud or, as we know, happened in Europe, that are meant to also be recognized during the Omer. But, says the Ramban, hold on to these days as days rich with the sanctity, of extended sanctity. On Yom Tov, you get just a few days of Chol HaMoed in there. But here we should imagine it's a long Chol HaMoed. There's holiness in it. And if you've ever focused your attention, and I really don't do this too much, but there's a whole matrix, a mystical matrix, which lays out each day of the Omer being rich with some attribute and some midah of a divine attribute that is present here, and we would do well to allow ourselves to enter that space too, and we can live as we always do with the mixed space of both elements of sadness and also elements of meaning and sanctity and quality that we're meant to have. That's just the reminder that we should take with us. As you, God willing, Lag BaOmer is another week, then you'll be able to get your haircuts and etc. But even as we move through this next week, and we're still living with some of those restrictions, also try to pick out for yourself something which is enriching and meaningful and holy as we count from the lowest place where we were when we left Egypt, as Chazal tell us, until we're worthy to receive the Torah, to live in that positive religious spiritual energy, create it, build it. That's what we can also do during this time. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom, and right at the midpoint of the Omer, the chance to step into it in its fullness. Shabbat Shalom.